Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will make a wall clock. The first step in making it is preparing the clock face. I bought an artist canvas at Dollar Tree. Its diameter is 20 centimeters. If you don't have an artist canvas, you can use the press board, which is also called the binder board or chipboard. The optimal thickness of the press board for this project is 3 millimeters. If you're going to use the regular press board, then you will need to paint it in white with the acrylic paint. For the clock face, you can decoupage a napkin, or you can use a laser printout. That's what I will use. I am not an expert in decoupage, so I will simply show you how I do it. Start from applying a layer of the acrylic varnish. I use Mod Podge. Meanwhile, place a printout on a clear plastic folder face down and spray it generously with water. Wait until the paper gets thoroughly soaked and drain any excessive water. Put the printout on the board facing up and smooth it out. Take a piece of the paper towel and use it for pushing the air bubbles out. Carefully remove the plastic folder. Trim any excessive paper. Apply a layer of the acrylic varnish and let it dry. Tidy up the edges. Place the cardboard under something heavy and wait until it fully dries, which may take up to 24 hours. Draw a smaller circle. I draw a circle 18 centimeters in diameter. Mark the locations for the spokes. The number of the spokes should be even. I will have 42 spokes. Punch the holes in the cardboard according to the marks you made. The diameter of each hole should be approximately 4 millimeters. You can use a suitable punch if you have one. If not, use an awl. The back side doesn't look pretty now, but we will cover these defects at the last stage of making the clock. I have prepared the paper rods of 3 colors. For the red paper rods, I used deep red acrylic paint plus water. To get the dark blue paper rods, I used the navy blue fabric dye from Tintex plus water. To get the white paper rods, I used white enamel from Behr plus water. You can use any combination of colors to your taste depending on the picture you are using for the clock face. My paper rods are relatively short, only 27 centimeters long. That's why I will connect 2 rods to get the sufficient length for the spokes. The paper rods need to be moisturized. Pull the weavers through the holes the way I show in the video. The connection should stay at the back. Bend each spoke around the next spoke. Tighten everything up. Take 3 weavers of the first color, in my case it's red, and place them behind 3 consecutive spokes. Weave 1 row with the reverse 3-rod twine by placing the leftmost weaver under 2 following weavers behind the 3rd spoke and out to the front. Pay attention where I cut the weaver. I cut it to the left of the spoke. The weaver I have just elongated will go behind this spoke. Elongate the other 2 weavers in the same manner and continue weaving the reverse 3-rod twine. We have reached the first spoke and need to step up to the next row. I will weave the next row in another color. That's why I need to change the color of the paper rolls before stepping up to another row. Cut the weaver in exactly the same manner as you cut the weavers when elongating them when making the 3-rod twine. That is, to the left of the spoke it is supposed to go behind. Attach the weaver of another color. I will use the blue weavers. Take the leftmost weaver, which you have just elongated, and place it the way it would normally go in the reverse 3-rod twine. Switch the color of the middle weaver in the same manner. Poke the middle weaver under one rod to the left of the spoke, pull it out behind the spoke. Change the color of the last remaining weaver in the same way and pull it under 2 rods to the left of the spoke. Weave another row with the reverse 3-rod twine in the same manner as you wove the first row. Change the color of the paper rods and step up to the next row exactly the same way you did it in the previous row. Weave one more row with the reverse 3-rod twine. Step up to the next row without changing the color of the paper rods. Weave one row with the regular 3-rod twine, that is, when you place the leftmost weaver over the other 2 weavers behind the spoke and out to the front. When you need to elongate a weaver, cut it to the right of the spoke it is supposed to go behind. We have reached the first spoke. We will weave the next several rows with the 2-rod twine. That's why we need to remove the extra 3rd weaver by poking it under 2 rods the way I show in the video. Step up to the next row starting from the rightmost weaver. Place it in front of 2 spokes, behind the 3rd one and out to the front. Repeat the same step for the remaining 2 weavers, starting from the middle weaver after having switched their colors. Trim the weaver a little bit to get it out of the way. Weave several rows of the 2-rod twine. I wove 4 rows. Place the plastic straws on the weavers to keep them wet. I will insert the nylon fishing line 1 mm in diameter into the paper rods, which I will use for making the border. The nylon fishing rod will fill the cavity inside the paper rods, which will ensure the smoothness of the curves in this type of the border. Trim the old spokes and replace them with the new double spokes, which have the nylon fishing line inside. Place the plastic straws on the newly added spokes as soon as you insert them into the weave. Weave 3 more rows with the 2-rod twine. Altogether, I wove 7 rows with the 2-rod twine. Trim the weavers and poke them into the weave next to the consecutive spokes. Remove the plastic straws from the spokes. Bend each pair of spokes under the neighboring pair of spokes to the left and out to the front. Pull the spokes from the last pair through the loop one by one. Make sure all the loops are of the same size. Place each pair of spokes in front of the following pair of spokes, behind the next pair, and poke them between the second and the third rows from the edge of the weave. Poke them to the left of the spoke. Make sure all the loops are of the same size. Flip the weave over and bend each pair of spokes around the next pair of spokes to the left. Prime the clock and wait until it dries. The link to the video where I show how to do it is at the top right corner of this screen. Trim the weavers. The next part of making the clock is optional. The back side of the clock doesn't look tidy. It doesn't really matter how it looks like because this side of the clock will face the wall and will not be visible. Still, I would prefer to conceal these defects. In order to do that, I cut a piece of cardboard of such shape and glued the wallpaper to it. Instead of the wallpaper, you can use any other suitable type of paper or a self-adhesive film. Let it dry. The last step is installing the clock mechanism and gluing the numbers. You can buy both the mechanism and the numbers online, for example on Amazon. Punch a hole in the center of the clock face and trim the cardboard around it. Insert the mechanism. Glue the numbers. Insert the battery and enjoy your clock.